Alright, so we did 3-1 on Friday. So on 3-2, we have 3 transactions. So the first one is April 5th. We bought supplies on account from Palm Supply for $500, and our source document is Memo 1. So we put a 5 here. Remember, we don't have to rewrite the month. Yes, we're doing the work together. And what 2 accounts are going to be affected if I bought supplies on account? Supplies and, what did you say? Accounts payable. So, do supplies or accounts payable have their own special amount column? No. So, this is where we're going to have 2 lines. Now, debits need to go on top. So which one is going to be debited? Supplies or Palm Supply? Supplies. So we're going to do supplies. Our document number is M1. We're going to debit 500. And then underneath that, we're going to do accounts payable dash Palm Supply. And we're going to credit 500. Now, one thing that you don't do when you have the multiple lines, get my page here, is you don't do the date again, and you don't do the document, source document again. This way, it's easy for you to realize that these 2 go together, because you know that the date and then the blank space below it are one transaction. So it's just an easy visual way to say, okay, that transaction has 2 lines. All right, April, I almost said August, April 7th, we're going to pay cash for insurance, $300, and check 2 is our source document. So we do a 7. What 2 accounts are being prepaid insurance and cash? And cash has its own special amount. So we just do prepaid insurance. What was our source document? C2. And that's check 2. And so is prepaid insurance, is it going to be debited or credited? All right, so we debit $300. Can you make it, sir? And then cash, are we going to debit or credit? Credit. So then we're going to credit $300. Okay. Then on April 9th, we're going to pay cash on the account to Palm Supply. We're going to pay $250 with check 3. So my 2 accounts are accounts payable and cash. And again, cash has its special amount, so we can do it all in one line. So 9, accounts payable, Palm Supply. And are we going, oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Check 3, so C3 is our document. And then are we going to debit or credit that accounts payable? Okay. Oh, that's right. 250. And then am I going to debit or credit cash? Credit cash. And that's 3-2. So we're on the same workbook page, but then jump to page 72 in your textbook. And then we have 6 transactions on this one. So April 12th, we're going to pay cash for rent, $1,000 with check 4. So 12, what 2 accounts are being affected? Rent expense and cash, right. So cash has its own special amount column, so we're going to do rent expense. Am I going to debit or credit my rent expense? Debit. And it was $1,000. And don't forget your C4. Check. Because you all need to bring your explosives. No, check 4. I said don't forget your C4. Because you all need to bring your explosive. No. Check 4 for your document number. Memo. We might be. It shouldn't be, but that's not to say that the book hasn't made it that way. I mean, we've got everything right. Mm-hmm. Well, then the thing we don't know here is we don't know whether or not this $1,500 up here, whether or not this was their initial investment or just an investment. Does that make sense? So we may have cash already in our bank account from our initial investment that we don't know about, and they just had to add to it. Right now, all we're worried about is whether or not our debit and credits match. Our cash we'll prove cash later. All right, this is 1,000. But yeah, no, we're on track with the book, so we're good. All right. The next one, April 13th, received cash from sales, $2,500. This is a special one. So we're going to do our 13. Since sales and cash both have their own special columns, we do a check mark. It's a calculator tape, so T13 is our source document. We put a check mark in the posting reference column. And then we put our sales credit, $2,500. And our cash debit of $2,500. And then we're done. And the reason we put the check mark under account title is because we don't need an account title because they both already have their own little special columns. We do that. Normally we do it later. We do it now because we don't have to go back and check this transaction to make sure everything works out. But the posting reference will go back in I don't remember how many chapters it is, but we'll go back and we start doing that for all of them. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. 14, April 14th, we're going to sell services on account to L. Rohi, $510, S1 for sales invoice. So what two accounts are being affected? Sales and accounts receivable. All right. So accounts receivable goes here. And it's L. Rohi. S1 is our document. And it's $510. So are we going to debit or credit accounts receivable? We're going to debit to make it increase. Hint on that bonus there that I just passed out. And then sales, is that going to debit or credit? It has to credit. There is no debit column. I guess it wouldn't have to debit, but they're not that mean to you. Okay. On the 19th, we pay cash for our electric bill, $148, and we're going to use check 5. What two accounts? cash and we do utilities expense, but you're getting more specific, which is fine. But so utilities expense goes here. Check 5. Are we going to debit or credit utilities expense? We're going to debit, and it was $148. And then we will credit cash $148. It's the next chapter, Wade, that we deal with the posting reference column. I left for you. Alright, and the 20th, we received cash on the account from El Rohi, $255, and it's receipt 2. So what 2 accounts? Accounts receivable and cash. So accounts receivable goes in the account title column. Receipt 2, so R2. Are we going to debit or credit accounts receivable? Credit $255. And we're going to debit cash $255. And this is where it just doesn't make sense how horribly you did on that one section of your test, because you can all do this and know exactly where things go, but when you have to just do the check mark, that's where most of you did fine on the back. Like, you can actually do the work, but then when it comes to theory. Right. Because they're the opposite. They do the opposite to owner's equity. Right. Correct. All right, 21. On the 21st, we're going to pay cash to the owner for personal use, $1,000, and we're going to use check 6. So are they going to, what account are we going to use, capital or drawing? Drawing. That's another area that you guys kind of, you flip-flop the drawing and the capital accounts. So we're going to do our, who's our owner? Norm Derner. So Norm Derner, comma, drawing. And it's C6. And Wade, are we going to debit or credit? Debit. There you go. So, yep, and then we're going to credit cash. And that takes care of 3-3. Yes. Right. Correct. Sorry. Yes. The drawing and the expenses. And again, guys, just remember that it's because even though owner's equity has a has a normal credit balance, anything that's going to decrease owner's equity, so your expenses in your drawing account, they have to increase on the debit side in order to decrease owner's equity on the debit side. So as just think, as my expenses go up, my owner's equity goes down. So what side does owner's equity go down on? The debit side. It's the easiest, I mean, that's the way that it took me forever. That's just how I had to run it through my head when I was taking accounting, was just, I had to actually think, okay, what is this doing to owner's equity? Is it making it go up or down? And then that's how I had to figure it out. So expenses, as expenses and the drawing go up, owner's equity actually goes down. So I'm going to have to debit those two accounts in order to make this go down. I'm giving you an opportunity to look at your notes. I can help you. Yes, it's going to go towards your test grade. Well, I will do it out of however many I want to do it out of. All right. I will take your opinion under advisement. All right, go to page 78 so we can finish this one. No 20 bonus points. All right. You can get up to 10 and a half. It goes on homework, though. All right. So we have 4 transactions for work together, 3, 4. And then we're going to prove and rule. That's the back page. All right. So on April 23rd, we sold services on account to L. Rohi again for $375. Sales invoice 2. And so it's going to be the accounts receivable, L. Rohi, S2. And since we're selling services on account to him, are we going to debit or credit accounts receivable? Debit. Okay, so $375. And then sales will credit $375 as well. Okay, on the 27th, we pay cash to the owner for personal use again, $500, check 7. So, Norm Derner, drawing, check 7. And this time, he's taken $500. So, are we going to debit or credit? Debit. And so then we're going to credit cash. Now, we have 2 transactions left, but we only have 1 more line. So, based on the notes, what we have to do is we have to say, okay, it's the 27th. We're going to carry this balance forward, so we're going to write carried forward. Yep, you write the 27th. No, because this is kind of its own separate transaction, yeah. There is no document number, and again, we put our check mark in the posting reference, and we'll explain posting reference next chapter. For now, just know that it goes there. We are going to draw a line across this top portion, so after the Norm Derner drawing, draw one single line all the way across. And technically, you're supposed to use a ruler. That's why it's called ruling. To make your straight line. And I'm just going to give you the totals, but what you would do is you're going to add each column to find the totals. So for this column, it should be $4,958. Then for a general credit column, it's $2,255. $2,255. Oh, never mind. I thought she needed to. And then sales credit is $3,385. Cash debit is $4,255. And cash credit is $3,573. $3,573. So we do have more cash in than we had out because our debits exceed our credits, Avery. Okay, and make sure, anybody have a calculator handy? Okay, add Avery, you add the 2 debit columns, so general debit, cash debit. Macy, do you have a calculator? Can you add the general credit, sales credit, and cash credit? Ready? All right. So, Avery, what were our debits? 9,215. 13. And Macy, what did you get? All right, so our debits and credits match. And so now we're going to do our double line. So we do 2 lines underneath here. Then you are going to flip your page to page 38. We're going to write page 2 at the top. What, up here we're on page 2? Oh, you're writing on page 38 in the workbook. We're writing page 2 here. Okay? And then, so now we're going to, because we're starting at the top of the page again, we're going to write April 27th. We write brought forward. No document number, check mark the posting reference. And then we're going to put in our totals from the other page. So $4,958 goes in the general debit. $2,255 goes in the general credit. $3,385 goes in sales credit. $4,255 goes in cash debit, and $3,573 goes in cash credit. Okay? So now we go back to our transactions. On April 29th, we received cash on the account from El Rohi, $300, and that's receipt 3. So we have accounts receivable, El Rohi, R3, and are we going to debit or credit accounts receivable? Credit. 300, and then cash will be credited or debited? Debited. And then April 30th, we received cash from sales, $544, and the document number is T30. So what do I put in the account title? A check mark. My document number is T30. Check mark in the posting reference column. And then sales credit gets $544. And cash debit gets $544. All right, now we need to total. So on the 30th, because it's the end of the month, we're going to do the 30th. We're going to do totals. Again, you would add each column, or first you draw your line, and then you add each column. Again, I'll just give you the total. So $4,958, $2,555. Yeah, you had 2,200. I said 2,500. Then you have $3,929. $5,099. I apologize. Hopefully you can turn your 9 into a 0. And then $3,000 $573. Okay, and we already did this 9. All right, so here for page 2, general debit column was $4,958, and the cash debit was $5,099. So Avery, can you add those together for us again, please? The cash and general debit columns. And then the credits, $2,555. Sales were $3,929. Cash credit was $3,573. And then Macy, can you add those together for us again, please? So you do the credits and Avery will do the debits. Better. All right. Do you have your credit totals? All right. What do you got, Macy? 10,057. And Avery has the same. So we balance. So now we can draw our 2 lines. And go back. After we total everything and we prove that debits and credits equal each other, you do 2 lines. Well, we're not done. We have to prove cash. Hey guys, we've only done half of what I wanted to get done today, so this is why we should have just kept working on Friday. Yeah. What? I enjoy doing it. Of course she does. I love accounting. Oh, no, she doesn't. Oh, I thought you said of course she does. I don't really like doing it when we do the computerized stuff as well. So. Like, eventually we'll get to the point where we do some of it on the computer. Yeah. All right, so we need to prove cash. So our book says, on April 1st, cash on hand was $0. And the checkbook balance on the next unused check stub is $1,526. So, for the sake of time, I'm just going to give you the totals. So, the total cash received during the month was $5,099. How would I get this? Not cash, which total though? Cash debit total. And so 5,099 plus 0 is 5,099. And so what would be my cash paid during the month? If I can find my total from the debits, yep, 3,573. So Somebody take 5,099, subtract 3,573. $1,526. So what we say we have, what our checkbook says we have, they match. So we have just proven cash. All right, so your assignment is the application problems. Actually, no, do the on your own. So page 39 and 40 in your workbook. Yep, you're going to do the same thing that we did, but you're doing on your own.